The moment I realized I'd sent that ridiculous message to my boss instead of my girlfriend, my world tilted on its axis. My heart slammed against my ribs as I stared at the screen, disbelief mixing with pure embarrassment. That cringeworthy text, meant to be a private joke, was now sitting in my boss's message thread, untouched, unexplained, and utterly mortifying. For the next 2 hours, silence screamed louder than any reply ever could. Every notification made my chest tight. If you've ever made a text blunder that felt like your career was on the line, you know exactly how it feels. This story isn't just about a slip-up. It's about surviving the aftermath, learning what to do when you want to disappear, and finding humor where you least expect it. How one text turned lunch break into a nightmare. It was supposed to be a quick, silly moment during my lunch break, a harmless back and forth with my girlfriend. Instead, it became the kind of memory you want to delete from your brain forever. One wrong tap, and suddenly my private joke landed right in my boss's hands. What followed was a slow-motion disaster unfolding in my mind, filled with dread and silence that stretched on and on. The split second that changed everything. We've all been there, scrolling through messages and juggling different chats. But this time I wasn't just mixing up conversations, I was mixing up worlds. My fingers moved faster than my brain, hitting send on a message meant for her but ending up on my boss's screen. That cringeworthy line, "Come quack in my lap duck sweat," became instantly visible to the person I needed to impress the most. In that moment, time froze. The thin line between personal life and work shattered. Panic replaced laughter, and every second felt like an eternity as I stared at the screen, heart pounding, waiting for a response that didn't come. The 2 hours of deafening silence. The worst part, the silence. No reply, no acknowledgement, just an empty gap filled with my own racing thoughts and creeping embarrassment. Every ping and buzz from my phone felt like a potential bombshell, but none was from her. The quiet was deafening, like waiting for a verdict that you already know will sting. During those agonizing 2 hours, I replayed the scene 1,000 times. Should I explain? Should I apologize? Should I pretend it never happened? But any word sent seemed riskier than silence. I felt like I was waiting on the edge of a cliff, wondering if the fall was coming or if I could somehow climb back. The unexpected response that left me speechless. Eventually she replied. No mention of the duck text, no awkward questions, only a simple message about the work deadline. That silence about the slip-up made it feel even heavier. Did she not see it? Was she too professional to mention it, or was she just waiting for me to explain? That reply confirmed one thing: I was stuck. Stuck with my face red, my mind spun, and a weight on my chest every time I thought about the lunch break I could never get back. The message was out there, permanent, and the damage was done. How this mistake snowballed in my head. Your brain has this awful habit of replaying your worst moments like broken records. Suddenly, that one text wasn't just embarrassing, it became a symbol of failure. How many people had seen it? What would she think of me now? Would this change how she saw my work? Even when I tried to focus on the report, my mind kept wandering back, turning a quick joke into a nightmare that haunted me days later. Mistakes happen, but this one became a mental monkey on my back that I still struggle to shake off. The awkward silence, waiting for a response from your boss. After sending that cringeworthy message to your boss, time slows in the worst possible way. You watch your phone like it's going to explode or burst into flames. Every second stretches longer than the last. That silence feels heavy, almost physical, like you're trapped underwater waiting to surface. This waiting game is one of the most painful parts of the whole disaster. It's not just the embarrassing text itself, but the endless question hanging in the air. Is she going to say something? Is this the moment my career unofficially ends? The silence isn't just quiet, it's loud, judgmental, and unforgiving. The mind's endless replay of your mistake. When your phone doesn't buzz back, your brain takes over. It loops those words over and over, turning the text from a simple mistake into a personal nightmare. It's like your own worst critic, replaying a horror movie of social disaster that you can't pause or rewind. You imagine your boss laughing at you. You wonder how she'll react in the next meeting. You fear she's questioning your professionalism. This mental replay can be exhausting. It saps your focus, makes your shoulders tense, and turns even the idea of looking at your phone into a stomach-churning experience. The silence feels like a void. When the screen stays blank, it creates a strange kind of void. You want to break it. You want any sign that your boss saw it and is just waiting to reply. But the silence can also feel like a judgment, a refusal to recognize the mistake out loud, amplifying your embarrassment tenfold. During that silence, every notification from other apps feels like a test, a fake out that only makes your nerves worse. Your mind might race through. Did she mention it in a meeting I missed? Has she talked about it with others? Will this mistake follow me around forever? Why waiting for a response can feel worse than the mistake. Believe it or not, sometimes the silence itself hurts more than any reply your boss could send. A quick reply might be awkward, but it also ends the suspense. That waiting makes your anxiety pile up because you're stuck in limbo. No reply means no closure. You can't fix what you don't hear about. You keep questioning what's next and how deep the damage is. It's a mix of uncertainty and self-doubt that can freeze you in place, making it hard to concentrate on your work or anything else. How to manage the agonizing wait. While the silence feels unbearable, there are ways to keep your cool. Focus on your work to keep your mind busy and show you're still professional. Avoid sending follow-up messages too soon, which can come off as desperate. Remember, your boss is likely processing the mistake and deciding how to respond. Take deep breaths and mentally ground yourself to keep anxiety at bay. The silence won't last forever. Eventually, your boss will respond and the tension will shift from unknown to something you can deal with directly, painful or not. Waiting for your boss to answer after accidentally texting something personal to them might feel like the longest 2 hours of your life. But that silence is just a pause, not the end of your story. When the response comes, handling the unexpected reaction. So the worst has happened. You've hit send on that text that was absolutely not meant for your boss, and now you're staring at the screen waiting for a reply. The seconds tick by or drag on and then it finally comes. That response could go in so many directions, and how you handle it could either calm the storm or add fuel to the fire. Whether your boss responds with silence, awkward professionalism, or something totally unexpected, being ready to manage that reaction is crucial. Let's walk through what comes next and how to keep your cool when your phone lights up after a message mishap. The silence breaker, when your boss finally replies. After what feels like an eternity, your boss might send a message that seems normal. No mention of the text, just a work-related reply like confirming a deadline or asking for a project update. This kind of response can feel like both a relief and a new kind of terror. On one hand, no direct acknowledgement means no public embarrassment. On the other hand, the silence on your actual blunder can feel like a heavy, unspoken weight. In this case, your best move is to keep it professional and polite, something simple like, "Sorry about that message, it was meant for someone else. The report will be ready by 3 p.m. as planned." No need for lengthy explanations or jokes to break the ice. Clear and concise puts the focus back on the task, not the text. Your boss will probably appreciate the straightforwardness and your ability to stay composed. When the response is awkwardly professional, without mentioning the oops. Sometimes your boss will act like nothing happened, but the tone might be stiff or overly formal. It's like they're silently screaming but with corporate restraint. If your boss sends messages that feel colder or more distant than usual, try not to take it personally. This kind of response often means they want to maintain professionalism but may feel uncomfortable. To deal with this, give it time. Don't try to force a funny follow-up or overshare to fix the vibe. Respond only when necessary, and keep all communication business-focused. Avoid sneaky texts or jokes going forward for a while, let things cool. This awkward professionalism is really your boss's way of handling their own surprise or discomfort. Keeping your tone neutral helps rebuild trust without making it worse. Handling a surprising or negative reaction. There's also a chance your boss might reply unexpectedly. That could be anything from a short reprimand to a joke acknowledging the mishap or even something a bit harsh. No matter the tone, how you respond matters more now than ever. Here's a simple playbook to avoid sinking further. Stay calm and read carefully. Don't respond right away. Let the emotions cool so you don't react defensively. Acknowledge the mistake in a neutral way. Sorry again about the accidental text. Keep your reply professional and focused on your work commitments. I will make sure to double-check messages moving forward. Avoid sarcasm or jokes that could be misread. If the tone feels unfair or hostile, document the messages. If things escalate, you can safely address it with HR. It's uncomfortable, but showing that you're accountable without over-apologizing is key. No need to grovel or get emotional, just act responsibly and respectfully. When you get no response at all, Sometimes the silence drags on longer than you want, even after your boss has seen your message. It might feel like walking in an elevator stuck between floors, waiting to see what happens next. If the silence continues, focus on your work to stay grounded. Avoid sending multiple follow-ups that can look desperate. Remind yourself the message is the final word on your professionalism. If days pass without a word and it's hurting your productivity or stress levels, consider a brief, polite check-in. Just wanted to confirm you received the report and if you need anything else. No boss wants to burn bridges over a texting mistake. The key is patience and professionalism. Most people will move on once work gets done. When the unexpected response is humor or a light-hearted reply. Sometimes your boss might surprise you with humor or a casual acknowledgement of the slip-up. Maybe a quick LOL or a playful "I think you meant to send this elsewhere." This can quickly take off the pressure and make the situation less dreadful. If this happens, match the tone briefly but don't go overboard. A simple "that was definitely a wrong chat, thanks for being cool about it" works well. Then focus back on your tasks and keep personal messages, well, personal from now on. A light reply from your boss shows professionalism and a sense of humor that you can respect. It also means they're human and maybe a little amused, much like you. What not to do when the response arrives. Here are some classic traps to avoid when your boss finally responds. Don't freak out and send multiple frantic messages. One clear, calm message is enough. Avoid defensive or sarcastic replies. They add fuel to the fire. Don't ignore the message if it calls for a response. Pretending it didn't happen won't make it go away. Never share more than needed about your personal life or the mix-up. Keep it short and simple. By avoiding these mistakes, you'll help steer the situation from disaster to manageable. Handling that first reply, no matter how awkward or unexpected, sets the tone for what comes next. It's your chance to turn a cringeworthy slip into a moment of professionalism that shows you can handle tough situations without losing your cool. When the unexpected response comes, be ready to own it, keep your head up, and focus on what really matters, your work. Lessons learned: avoiding texting disasters at work. Sending a message meant for your girlfriend to your boss is the kind of mistake that haunts you long after the screen goes dark. Those seconds after you realize the mix-up feel like a slow-motion horror show. The embarrassment burns, panic soars, and you wonder how to undo what's already out there. But beyond the cringe, there's a lesson about managing workplace communication in today's fast-paced texting world. Learning from this kind of slip-up can save you from a mountain of stress and professional headaches. Keep personal and professional separate always. Mixing work and personal chats on your phone invites trouble. It's easy to think, "I know who I'm texting," but a slight slip of a finger or a quick tap reflex can change everything. The safest move is to separate the two worlds. Use dedicated apps or threads for work and personal life. Even setting a distinct notification sound for work messages can snap your brain into work mode and keep private texts private. Think twice before you hit send. Even when you think you're just shooting off a quick reply, take a moment to check who the recipient is. That split-second glance can save you from a disaster. Here are some quick habits to practice. Double-check the contact name or number. Read your message out loud in your head. Pause and think, would I want my boss to see this? This small pause builds a strong wall against accidental sends. Avoid sensitive or playful content in work chats. Work texting is best kept clear, professional, and straightforward. That means jokes or anything too playful should stay out of work threads. It's tempting to be relaxed with coworkers, but mixing flirtation, emojis, or inside jokes can invite misunderstanding. Save those duck face comments for your personal time. Use clear language and keep texts short. Long, vague, or complicated texts make people stop and think, which can derail communication. When texting at work, stick to the point. Use clear, simple language. Avoid slang and emojis. Break complicated info into multiple messages or shift it to email or a call. People appreciate messages they can understand quickly without confusion. Timing matters. Respect work hours and context. Texting during off hours or meetings can come off as intrusive or disrespectful. If it can wait, wait. Avoid sending non-urgent texts during weekends or late nights. When texting is urgent, be direct and mention the urgency. This respect helps keep workplace texting professional and less stressful. Set expectations and apologize when needed. If you make a mistake, own it quickly. A simple, direct apology like, "Sorry, that message was intended for someone else," shows responsibility and helps clear the air. Being upfront often prevents awkwardness from stretching on and shows maturity. Also, if you expect a reply, set a clear timeline. For example, "Please confirm by 3 p.m. helps avoid back-and-forth confusion. When things go wrong, how to recover. If you do accidentally text your boss something you shouldn't have, here are some recovery steps. Stay calm and don't flood their inbox. Send a brief apology without over-explaining or making jokes. Return focus to work tasks promptly to show professionalism. Avoid bringing up the mistake repeatedly. Learn from the situation by building better texting habits. Mistakes happen, but how you handle them defines you. Why these lessons matter. Work texting feels casual but carries risks if not handled with care. A quick tap can trigger unintended consequences if professionalism isn't maintained. Avoiding texting disasters protects your reputation, reduces stress, and keeps communication smooth. These habits aren't just about preventing embarrassment, they help build trust and respect in the workplace. Texting is a useful tool. When you treat it like that, it stops being a landmine waiting to explode and becomes just another way to get things done. Moving forward, coping with embarrassment and rebuilding confidence. Accidentally sending a private, cringe-worthy text to your boss can feel like your world just flipped upside down. That rush of embarrassment doesn't just fade away in a moment. It lingers, gnawing at your confidence and making every glance at your phone painful. But here's the truth: everyone stumbles, and your reaction now shapes how you move forward. Handling the fallout takes more than wishing the ground would swallow you whole. It takes clear steps to manage your feelings, own the mistake, and rebuild your confidence at work. Let's break down how to do just that. Facing the embarrassment head-on. The first wave of embarrassment is brutal. Your mind probably replays the message on loop, making your cheeks burn well after the moment has passed. The natural urge is to hide or pretend it never happened, but acknowledging your feelings is the real first step to moving forward. Allow yourself to feel awkward. It's normal and temporary. Like a burn, it will heal. Avoid catastrophizing. Remember, blunders happen to everyone. Your boss is human too, and likely more forgiving than you think. Don't isolate. Share a sanitized version with a trusted friend or coworker who can remind you it's just a mistake, not a character flaw. Taking responsibility without overdoing it. You don't need to plaster apologies all over the place. A quick, straightforward acknowledgement can clear the air without making the moment bigger than it is. If you feel a response or explanation is needed, keep it short. "Sorry, that message was meant for someone else. It won't happen again." This shows accountability and professionalism. Over-apologizing or trying to make jokes about the situation often drags the embarrassment out longer than necessary. Learning practical lessons to prevent a repeat. Once the initial shock fades, start thinking about how this happened and what to do next time to avoid the same slip. Double-check the contact before hitting send, especially when juggling multiple chats. Separate work and personal messaging apps, or at least put your boss's chat somewhere distinct. Use message preview features to catch mistakes before they go out. These simple changes rebuild your control over the situation, turning an embarrassing moment into a valuable lesson. Regaining confidence step by step. Confidence doesn't snap back instantly after a cringe moment. It grows with each positive choice you make and small win you achieve. Set achievable daily goals. Focus on tasks where you excel to remind yourself that you're capable and reliable. Use positive self-talk. Replace thoughts like, "I can't believe I did that," with, "Everyone makes mistakes. I'll move on and do my best." Practice calming techniques. Deep breathing or even a quick walk can reset anxiety and clear your mind. Engage with supportive colleagues. Positive feedback from your team can rebuild your self-esteem. Think of confidence like a muscle. Every time you confront the situation without running away, that muscle strengthens. Moving beyond the mistake. At some point, the message will fade into the background of daily work life. When that happens, it's time to reclaim your focus. Stick to clear, professional communication going forward. Avoid dwelling on the slip-up in conversations or self-talk. Keep delivering quality work that reminds your boss and you why you're valued. Your slip-up doesn't define you, it's just one small chapter in a much bigger story of your professional journey. Embarrassment can feel crushing in the moment, but handling it with calm, honesty, and forward thinking will pull you through. The key is to turn your focus away from the mistake and back on your strengths and your work. Moments like these test you, but they also show you how you rise again. That moment of panic when your private, silly text lands in your boss's inbox can feel like a nightmare you want to escape. The embarrassment swells, the silence feels endless, and you imagine every worst-case scenario. But with a quick, honest apology and a steady focus on professionalism, even this type of mistake can be smoothed over. The awkward silence will pass, the laughter may surface, and you'll find your confidence again by owning the moment instead of hiding from it. Sharing stories like these reminds us all that nobody's perfect and mistakes don't define us. Your career is built on how you recover, not just what happens. So don't disappear, face the cringe, learn from it, and move forward with your head held high. The imperfect moments make the best stories and sometimes the strongest people. What's your most unforgettable texting disaster?